In this video, we're going to talk about the absolute value of complex numbers. And basically what we're looking at is, you'll see a question like this. You'll see the absolute value of 4 minus 2i. So there's a real and an imaginary part of this question. Now, what I is actually equal to, I is equal to the square root of negative 1. And that's why it's an imaginary number, because we don't actually have a number for the square root of a negative number. So what we need to do is find the absolute value of this. And what it basically is a little bit of graphing. So what we do is we graph it, and on one axis we have the imaginary, and on the other axis we have the real. So these are the imaginary numbers and these are the real numbers. So if you give, so if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then of course -1, -2, etc., etc. So our first point is 4 on the real line. Okay? Now our second thing here is the imaginary. So if we go up, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, but it's actually a negative point, so we're going to have to go down. So we go -1, -2, -3. So our imaginary point is actually right here. It's at -2, and our real point, so imaginary point is at -2, and our real point is 4. It's 4 on the line. So actually what you do is you plot a point right at 4 and -2. So let's do that in blue. We're going to plot a point at 4 and -2. So that's our point, 4 and -2i. Now what you do is connect all these points. And what you're trying to find is actually this line right here. So you have 4 here, and 4 is the real part, and you have 2i here. So all that you need to do is use Pythagorean's theorem, basically. So all you have to do is say, okay, well this is going to be equal to 4 squared plus -2 squared. And that's going to equal 4 minus 2i squared. Now, all we did was we took the 4 and put it in and squared it, and we took the -2 and squared it. It's very important that you square the whole -2. So what we're going to get is then 16 plus 4, because -2 squared is 4, is equal to the absolute value of 4 minus 2i all squared. So now what we get is 20 is equal to the absolute value of 4 minus 2i all squared. Now all we have to do is take the square root of each side, because that gets rid of the square on the absolute value side. So actually what we're going to get is the absolute value of 4 minus 2i is equal to 2 roots of 5, or 4.47. So all we did was take the square root of 20, and that's equal to 4.47, and that is our answer for the absolute value of this complex number. So basically all you need to do, you don't need to draw this graph or anything like that. All you need to do is say, okay, the absolute value of this complex number is just going to be 4 squared plus -2 squared. And all you need to do is solve for that, and you need to remember that that's actually equal to 4 minus 2i all squared. So you need to square both of these, add them together, take the square root, and then you'll have 4 minus 2i is equal to, and then you'll have a number on this side. And that's all there is to it.